Again, we're going to have next Cashem Holland, and he's the founder and executive director of Financial Boss. And the presentation will be Turning Vision into Reality, how AI supercharges creativity, development, and storytelling. And a quick brief description of the presentation. Drawing from real world examples, this session will explore how tools like Claude, Gemini can accelerate app development, storytelling, and creative prototyping through effective prompting. Cashem Holland, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize for the echo. I'm actually proctoring an AI certification class today, but so thankful for technology and for the leniency so that I can still present and show you guys a couple of things today. So thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here as well. And we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? So hello, everyone. I'm Cash. I'm founder of Financial Boss, and I really am excited to show you how I've been able to use AI to go from just having ideas to actually building real products that help kids, and how you can also do it too, right? Even if you aren't a techie person. So just a little bit about the organization. Financial Boss is all about teaching kids how money works before it has the chance to work against them. Our mission is to empower the next generation with financial confidence and intelligence. And our vision is for a world to be where every child can make smart money decisions no matter what their background is. So this is really why it matters to me, right? And to a lot of people, is because we're not just teaching numbers. We're basically helping kids learn to save, to budget, understand credit, and also get ready for adulthood. So we are prepping them for real life. And that's the impact that we're aiming for with every program that we create. So just a little bit about me, right? A few years ago, I had all of these visions, apps, storybooks, games, but honestly, I didn't have the team. I didn't have the resources in order to support this work. So now fast forward to today. Thanks to AI, I've built an educational app, which is a 90% complete. I have been able to illustrate my storybooks. I've been able to create games. I've designed coloring pages. I've developed a full youth financial literacy ecosystem, all without a technical team, no coding, no big budget, and just a vision and some powerful tools, which I'm going to show you guys today. So here's the magic, right? AI does not replace creativity; it amplifies it. With the right prompt, you can go from an idea or a concept to a prototype and then to a real product. Fast, on a budget, right? The formula is really simple. Vision plus AI equals execution. Idea plus prompting equals real product. So if you leave here with nothing else, right? I want you to leave here knowing that you do not need to be a coder. You do not need to be a designer. You do not need to be an author or illustrator by trade in order to build real things today. But you can, in fact, become all of those by implementing AI. And again, let me show you how, right? So here's our first case study. Here's a real world example. And again, I am not a game developer, right? But with Claude, I was able to write game logic. I was able to refine mini games, as you see here on the left-hand side. I was able to actually download working code, and that means that I could turn my ideas into interactive games for kids, which I did, included in my application that I'm building. No coding about bootcamp was required though. And so basically, like if you're using Claude, it has the ability to turn complex processes into simple collaboration. If you notice, like I said, at the game's pictured, I was able to code through prompting in order to create a fun and great game that was correlated to the topic. And so Claude again allowed me to be able to build these games, even though I'm not a game developer. So again, your takeaway would be if you can describe it, AI can help you build it, right? And so we're going to get into kind of the prompts that I use and things like that. But just know again, I am no game developer. I do have a slight background in technology, but nothing of this sort. I am not a coder, but I was still able to successfully do this. So our next case study is going to be what I was able to do with storybooks. So same thing with storybooks. I am not an illustrator, and at this time I wasn't an author, right? But Gemini became my creative studio. I was able to generate digital proof of concept storybook pages. I was able to create characters. I was able to create poses and scenes along with consistent styles, developing a full story arc for The Concert Dilemma, which is my book. Gemini was able to remove all of the barriers between imagination and execution. So again, no illustrator at this time, no design team, just vision and prompting. So Gemini turned my written ideas into illustrated mockups. So again, like I would just say, like your takeaway is AI lets you pitch before production, right? Which is extremely useful, especially for those of us who are looking to cast our net in a big market, who want to have this proof of concept or this prototype before expending all of the money and resources and time and energy that it will require for the finished product. AI is a perfect tool to help you do that. Like you are able to show stakeholders a polished prototype early in the game before you extend yourself. And that is immeasurable for most of us, right? Um, so this is really where the magic happens. I call it my power of prompts framework. Okay. And honestly, it's like my secret weapon, for getting great results from AI. So let me break it down for you. Number one is the role. You would start by telling AI who you want it to be. And what it does is that role kind of sets the perspective and expertise for your results. The clearer you are about the role, the more targeted and relevant your AI responses will be. So, case in point, as one of the things that I did in my prompting was as a game designer, dot dot dot, right? As a financial coach, right? As a children's author, see, so again, what you're doing is you're assigning the role to AI so that they know exactly the vantage point that they are supposed to give this information to you. Okay. The second is like the task or objective. And that's basically just telling it exactly what you want. And so first you need to be really clear about what you want the AI to do or create. Don't just say make a game. Okay. Too vague. All right. Explain what kind of game, who the game is for, why you're creating the game. Those are the things that help it to produce and create what you really want. So the more specific you are about the task, the better. Case in point, you might say, okay, design a proof of concept book that is engaging and fun for children aged 8 to 12. You see how specific I was? See, so now it has all of the information that it basically needs to give you the product that you desire. Okay. Number three would be the context. And so now you just basically just that add some context. Tell AI who your audience is, maybe what your goals are, um, maybe even like what tone or style you may want. The tool can only help you if it knows exactly what you want it to do. Okay. So provide the background, maybe provide the audience, provide the purpose or style or even any constraints that you may have or limitations or things that you don't want it to do, right? So you might say like the book should be in a language that is suitable for a child, right? But convey financial concepts in an age appropriate way. Use bright colors, teach basic fiscal principles. So those are some of the things that, for my particular product that I would use just to kind of show the context and giving it that background that it needs so it understands who you are and actually what you want it to do. Um, the next thing would be the references and the output format. And so What I would say with this is that you basically share examples of references. If there's a particular style you like, if there's a format that you want, give it a sample, describe it, so that it can mimic whatever you want. The more that you show or tell, the closer the result will be to your vision. So back on one of the other slides, I mentioned, I put on there multi modal prompting. And what that basically is when you not only give it verbiage, but maybe, let's say you're creating a website and you're prompting like, here, I need a website that is going to do this about my company. But now you are able to give a picture of a similar website that you saw. See, so now AI doesn't have to struggle to read your mind. You've already given it now the reference for your output. And so it makes it so easy, right? And what it did is like I put on the slide is it show it what good looks like. See, because what will happen is AI will just scramble. If the least amount of, if you give it the least amount of information, then it won't really be able to pull and give you what you really need. And so the more that you give in it, especially if you're able to give it a reference, you can show, listen, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm expecting from you. And so that coupled with everything else, you are sure to get a product that is acceptable, right? Lastly, I want to say to evaluate or iterate. And what I mean by that basically is don't accept just what don't accept what it gives you hands off, right? What I need for you to do is to be able to take a look at it, um, and see if it looks right. Does it sound good? Evaluate it honestly. Is it something that you would use if you're creating a course? Is this something that people will buy? Is it in your brand colors? Is it something that you feel comfortable disseminating and dispersing to an audience or to the public, right? And if not, go back and refine it until it is right. And be specific again. The more specificity that you give AI, the better your outcome is going to be. Right. And so if you need to make it shorter, if you need to add more questions, use simpler language, whatever it is that you need to do, then you're able to do that. Right. And that is how you get what you want. Most people, remember I said, like, here's the magic, right? Because most people think that AI is magic just by itself. But the real magic is in how you talk to it. Like most people complain that AI isn't giving them what they want, but the reality is that they didn't tell AI what they wanted. Like you didn't use it. It's like if you're doing a particular picture, let's say, and I could just say, I would like a picture of a lady who is sitting outside in the sun, right? But now and it could give you any picture that anything could come off that. But now if I'm very specific and I say I want an African American lady in her mid 30s with a yellow dress on and a big brimmed hat with the sun overcast, with a little bit of overcast, but the sun slightly beaming on her face to where you can see her face glowing. That's a lot of details, right? And so if that is explicitly what I am looking for, then that's the information that I should plug in. And that's to ensure that I will get exactly what I want, right? So the takeaway is basically that if you can master prompting, then you can build almost anything. And I need you guys to hear that, right? Because if you are able to give it the information that it needs, then it will be able to give you back exactly what you need and what you want, right? Even if you've never written a line of code before, even if you are not an artist, like you can be none of these things, but you will get the information that you need. So again, the takeaway now is the prompt is the product, okay? And the clearer your prompt is, the clearer your results will be, right? And so let me show you an actual real prompt. And so this is the prompt, and you guys don't have to read it. I'm gonna kind of breeze through it a little bit, but this is the actual prompt on that I created to get my first draft of characters for my storybook. Okay, on the right you'll actually see what AI actually built for me. Okay, but if you do, or if you aren't able just to peruse, I'm not gonna read all of it, but I will highlight some of the things. And so one of the things that I was specific about was the age of the children, their height in comparison, their ethnicity, their nationality, the prompts, any identifiable things, their outfits, their financial persona. Like I gave it all of this, right? And again, this was the very first draft. I wanted for my particular book, the four characters stand for the four pillars of financial literacy. That being earn, save, spend, and donate. So if you notice, if you right off the hand, you probably know which one is the donate person, right? That's Zoe. And that's because her bag has the traditional heart of donation, right? And then now August is kind of little me. August is the spender, right? Impulsive spender. We can notice by his flashy sneakers, by the pendant around his neck, and by the money in his hand, right? And see, so those are just some of the things that I was able to get from AI. But again, I had to give it the information in order for it to spit back out to me what I needed and what I desired. The real value is this. AI can help you build apps without coding. It can help you develop visual assets. It can help you write business plans, emails, funnels, design prototypes, mock-ups, create an entire content ecosystem. It can also very much speed up operations for you. It can lower costs tremendously, and it enables you to test ideas before spending real money, right? So I know a lot of people have had this trepidation surrounded by AI, right? AI is not about replacing people, okay? AI is about replacing excuses, okay? And I need that to kind of sit there with y'all for a minute, okay? Because if you get a handle and if you learn about AI, then it will make your life so much easier, okay? You do not have to have a huge team. You don't have to have a big budget, just a clear vision and a willingness to do a little bit of experimentation, okay? At the end of the day, AI is a tool. It's a tool for us to use. It puts creative power in your hands. You are able to build, you're able to design, you're able to write and test anything, no matter what your background is. And all it takes, like I mentioned, is your vision, okay, and the courage to try. And so that's one of the things that I've experienced, and I can tell you, like I'm living proof, right? I'm living proof because that you don't have to be a coder, you don't have to be an illustrator to create something real. You know, my story is simple, just what I said. I am not a coder. I am not an illustrator. Before I started this process, I was not an author. But today, I have, like I said, an app that is 90% completed. I have storybooks that have gone to print. I have games, I have workshops, I have a full youth financial literacy brand because I built it using AI. AI allowed me to bring my vision to life, right? So if you leave here again with just one takeaway, let it be this. Your ideas deserve to exist. And with AI, they finally can. If you're anything like me and you have certain things that you're passionate about and things that you have been thinking about that you wanted to do, and you just didn't know how to do it because you don't have the money, you don't have the people, I promise you, you will be able to do it, good enough, right, to get you to the next step. So as I mentioned, like even with starting with just proof of concepts and things like that, if you have an idea, AI can help you bring it to life, right? And I do also, extend the invitation that, ask me anything that you need. I'd love to help you get started and be of any assistance that I can. One of the things that I wanted to do next was just kind of show you guys, it's a real short video of just from concept to execution so that you can see some of the things that I've done and what was my process in taking it from, again, concept to execution. So less than a minute. Let's go through this. So, yeah, basically, as you saw in the video, we took it from where it was just a script, and then I was able to design the characters, which I kind of went over the prompt with you guys. And then after that, I was able to do a rough draft of using AI in order to illustrate the book. After that, or rather, I was able to use ChatGPT and to be able to actually put the prompting together, um, and using Claude and different things of that nature, right? Or using Gemini. Gemini storybooks has been amazing, and because it provided that proof of concept in the actual video. If you notice, I then was able to take it to pilot with Durham County Library, and after that, was able, based on the feedback and the reactions that I got, I was able to actually take the book to print. And so, again, I have done it. This is my story of how I actually, without any cost, right? Gemini Storybook was absolutely free. I never paid for the top tier or the paid version. I was able to do it free of charge, and I was able to get the concept in order to pilot, get the pilot going, to get the feedback. And because of the feedback, I was able to extend the book, and now my book is for sale. And so, if you want to support what we're building, then you can feel free to scan this QR code. It will take you directly in order to purchase a copy of the completed Four Squad Money Adventures, The Constant Dilemma. And it is primarily, again, for children between the ages of 8 and 12. But I have several other things that I'm working on. And so if you do happen to want to connect or collaborate, all of my information is right here. And listen, I thank you for the opportunity, through Every.Black, to be a part of the community and to educate and empower the community. I thank you all for being here and believing it was possible. Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow. Like I said, you just set it on fire, Cashem. Like I said, you and I had talked before, and I missed one of the meetings. We were supposed to connect, but we definitely have to connect. Awesome job. And what I love when you present, you put it in everyday terms that we could understand. And so I appreciate that. And real quick, some takeaways. Again, the childhood to adulthood. I mean, you're starting them young and going all the way into adulthood, which is something I definitely loved. And, the education piece and starting early. Again, you encouraged, you inspired. Again, you let us know that, you didn't really know too much about any of this. You didn't do game coding or anything like that. But through using these tools, you were able to do all these different things. So that just encourages us who's watching to go ahead and just start. Like one of the other speakers said, just start. And another one was, again, when you're using these AI tools to be specific with your prompts, the more specific you are, the better the outcome. Yeah, like I said, you just, again, set it on fire. And I just thank you.